today we're here gathered to take a moment to recognize our champions of minority businesses, to continue fighting for inclusion in state government and procurement practices. So House Bill 453, this important law now will require every local government, municipalities, park districts, counties that have a tax levy of over $5 million to start collecting diverse status on their vendors and including subcontractors. Not only are they collecting it, but they also are going to be required to publish this data. That's very important. I mean, think about not knowing who a municipality is doing business and now knowing who they're doing business. That just really sets up what I feel a road for a nice, successful diversity and inclusion program.
I am Will Davis. I represent the 30th District, which is out in the south suburbs. I'm pleased and honored to have this opportunity to be with you today to acknowledge a piece of legislation that was introduced, subsequently passed and signed by the governor to help start the process of collecting the data necessary. We're often told that data needs to be a part of the conversation, whereas many of us think that we don't really need the data, we just know it's bad, so why can't we just pass the bills we need to make it better? But some will argue that you need the data to supposedly justify, and that's just another way of saying that somebody's going to sue you, no matter what you do, no matter how you try to improve situations for companies, diverse companies, companies of color, women, and we would say, well, why does it need to be that way? Why are we just not doing the right thing and making these opportunities available? But nevertheless, legislation is our tool, and this is how we seek to invoke the change necessary to make it better for all. We know that when these companies, these small businesses out of our communities, when they are working, they hire people from our community, and they bring up the overall quality of life in all of our communities together throughout the entire state of Illinois. But we know that it's necessary.
Are pieces of legislation that I'm proud to support and proud to carry because it's the right thing to do. With House Bill 453, as was mentioned earlier by the previous speakers, it allows the opportunity for municipalities and local units of government to create those vendor lists. And those things are very important because a lot of times that we as legislators, we get to write legislation or we discuss legislation, they always say, well, how do we know that this exists? We need the data to prove that this happened, or we need a disparity study. And as was noted, disparity studies cost a lot of money and a lot of time invested in it. So now with this legislation being signed by the governor and become effective law, those units of government now have the obligation to collect the data, and we now have access to it to be able to pull from it to see who's working in these communities, why aren't certain demographics working in these communities, and how can we bring them up to speed and up to standard on those issues. So I'm excited about it. I'm happy to see this very diverse group of people in this room to push this ball forward, and I'm excited to continue to work with most of you, and for those who I haven't had an opportunity to do so, looking forward to doing so as well. Want to reiterate my love and support for HACIA and the work that you guys do, and thank you for this opportunity.
House Bill 132 cuts the red tape, doing away with having to complete yet another lengthy MBE certification application that not only takes months to process, but takes up valuable resources that our small businesses often don't have the luxury of sparing. So starting January 1st, when signed, MWBEs will only need to have either one certification, either with the city or the county, and it will be accepted by BEP. I can see it, I know. It's a big deal. It's a big deal. They'll only need to be certified with one to be counted towards the BEP goals. We welcome the opportunity to work with the state agencies also to ensure a smooth transition. I have the pleasure of asking Representative Evadina Delgado up to the podium.
I did not realize just how impactful a bill like this would be, and I could tell just from the reaction here that it makes such a huge difference to those of you who are running small businesses. I do not run a small business, and so I stand here before you grateful that you guys are out there doing that work and open to hearing from you as much as possible. I think I went around and tried to introduce myself to everybody here and collected cards because I want you guys to feel comfortable when you get my email in the next couple of days to respond back to me and say, hey, this is an issue that I have, or this is something that I need help with, or I see this as something that we need to address at the state level. Because again, only through you do I learn and understand what those things are, because I don't have that experience. And I think that that's what makes a legislator a good legislator, is by listening to folks that he or she represents. I also want to shout out to Representative Will Davis, who I have known for many, many years, and he has been a champion in this area, as Senator Harris said, and also a shout out to Senator Harris. But Will has really been kind of the tip of the spear on a lot of these issues, and it is really great for me to come in as a new legislator to be able to learn from Will and get that kind of background and support, and having a great team down in Springfield to be able to get things done. You know, the Latino Caucus, we are an up-and-coming group, I like to say. That we've grown in numbers over the past few years, but you know, we're relatively new. And so it's great to be able to have partnerships with the Black Caucus to be able to push issues forward that end up impacting and helping all of our communities. So again, I want to thank all of you for being here today. Thank you so much for your support. Thank you so much for your recognition, although really I feel like I was a small cog in making all of this happen. But thank you again.
With that, if you would all just indulge me in one more story, I'd like to bring up what I consider a up and coming star who's also inspirational. She sits on our board, and I'd love for her to share on how passage of this bill affects her business directly. And so with that, I'd ask that Jeanette Chavarria Torres joins us.
Hi, my name is Jeanette Chavarria Torres, and I'm the president of DCH Construction and Hauling. We're a construction and hauling company. So we're those dump trucks that you see on the road with paving the roads, picking up material. And I just wanted to give a little bit of feedback on how these two bills have affected or are going to benefit not only my business, but some of the minority business, women-owned businesses that are part of the HACIA membership. So right now, currently in August of 2021, I've gone over 5 different recertifications. One for the city of Chicago, one for IDOT, one for WeBank. So it's just every single year we go through this process, and it's the same documentation for every single one, but every single one is just different, and they want a different certification to say you got certified through this company, which I know it's very repetitive and it's the same paperwork, but it really does strive away from our day-to-day business, where you already know that we're a minority women-owned business already for 5 years. Why do I need to give you this huge packet again and again? But you know, we still get it done, but I mean, that's a huge benefit to us, you know, focus back on the business and not keep recertification through all these other agencies. And Bill 453, again, yes, City of Chicago, Metro, Pays, Tollway, they all have done a great job at, you know, including us and setting minority participation goals. But as I was talking to actually our board president about this bill, I've talked to him about, hey, I work with some great contractors, and they use me for all this tollway work, which now my focus is a lot of tollway work. I'm like, but they will not use me for municipality work. And they're just like, because we don't have to have participation included in our plan, we're just not going to use you. They prefer to, you know, whoever their preferred vendor is, but we don't even get that opportunity. And again, what happens when tollway doesn't have any more work? And we've just focused solely on tollway work, and instead we can, you know, a minority business can work for the city of Chicago, CTA, but also these municipalities, so it opens up for more funding in different areas. And I really want to thank the legislators, and I'm going to be completely honest, and I always say this, when I was writing up my business plan when I was a sophomore in college, one of the biggest things that I always go back when I talk to students in entrepreneurship classes, I totally missed the politics side. Nowhere in my business plan was there anything about politics and how important it is to listen to our legislators and what they're doing for us. And it wasn't until HACIA and our board president, Ivan Solis, which I have to thank so much that he's guided me through so many things, that he pointed it out. You know, if you want change, we have to go to our legislators and we have to ask for help and how they can help us be a part of the conversation. And I always say to any new contractor that I get in front of. And I want to thank all the legislators today, because this is what you're doing. You're giving us an opportunity to crack that glass ceiling. And that is just a huge movement, just to be able to have that opportunity to sit at those tables. And you know what? As long as we get that opportunity, the second part, we got it. We will do the work, we will perform, and we will do a great job. But we just need those opportunities. And I really want to thank all the legislators here today, because that is exactly what you're doing. And I look forward to working with all of you. And thank you so much again.